Yeah, don't worry. You don't worry about my back. You worry about being fucking sparked out like a starfish on the canvas in front of your home crowd.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck is right. All you do is fucking lunge in and fucking get over-ego.
Some fighters need to get fired up at press conferences, not to get up for the fight, so that might be what he has to do.
I seen that little clip and he got it with the body shot and said something about his back, but obviously only he knows, doesn't he, at the end of the day.
I feel like he quit. Like I said, I'm not going to go back on that. He got it with a body shot and went down, said something about his back, whatever. Yeah, so to me, that's quitting.
If you're talking about a fella quitting, right? Now you're defending your world title against this guy that you thought quit at a lower weight class. What does that say about you?
Yeah, he's just going to make it worse for himself, so you think you can get him out there early? Yeah, 100%, yeah. Definitely. Besides just set on smashing him and getting him out the way, yeah.
And we're on. Hello and welcome to podcast episode 107 of Rope Boxing, where you lovely people get to listen to the dulcet tones of me and my co-host, Mr. David Holler. The two Daves, as you know, back for another midweek preview and prediction show. Before we crack on to any type of content, if you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe. That's like, share and subscribe. Yep. If you're watching via YouTube, Mr. Holland's doing his usual. Along the bottom there, like, share, just do it now. Just get it done out of the way. And all the great content you'll be notified about in next week, week after, and forevermore. So yeah, that's the old T's and C's done. Only saw you yesterday, brother. Busy day at work. Any news to report, mate?
No, mate. Flat out at work. Off again tomorrow. I've got another funeral, so it's 2 in a week. So yeah, nightmare at the moment. It's my mum's aunt. So I'm off work tomorrow, which is nice. Friday, but yeah, under sad circumstances, but no, works, yeah, going all right, mate. Living the dream over there, working out near Chelsea, and yeah, nothing to report, mate. Nothing to report.
But if you've got another funeral tomorrow, let's just hope the boxing world doesn't depress you too much going into tomorrow. No. It normally does. Before we crack in with a bit of David McDonald in his news hour, just quickly, Wednesday. What are we on today? Thursday. So Tuesday. Hang on, let me get my days right. So we're on Thursday. So it says boxing on every day of the week now. I get so confused. Yesterday morning, Keith Thurman was in action. Did you manage to catch any of one-time back in action? Yeah, what did you think?
I see. Sorry, mate, I cut you off there. Yeah, I see his stoppage. I didn't see the whole fight. I know that he's now calling out to Zoo, so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, he's age 36 now, isn't he? He hasn't fought he's had one fight in 3 years or something daft like that. Yeah. Seems to be based out in Australia. You're right, he's called out Tim Tszyu. Tim Zhu's got a fight against, I can't remember his name, Jerry Spencer or someone. So that is a good fight to make. Let's see what he's got left at 36. I'm not, as you used a terminology yesterday, mate, swinging from the trees when talking about Harlem Eubank. I'm literally not going to swing through the trees after watching this. The first 2 rounds, he was getting beat, and then the penny dropped and go, fuck this guy's beneath my level, and just smashed him up. Good highlight reel knockout moment, but
yeah, I saw the knockout.
Yeah, if he can get a Tim Tszyu fight off the back of this at the age of 36, then beats Tim Tszyu and then kind of jumps in with the guy that destroyed Tim Tszyu and Murtaz Eliev, that could be a good 2025 for Keith Thurman. But if he's still with PBC, mate, you know what's going to fucking happen with him. So yeah, it was good to see him out anyway. And today, yes, we are on Thursday, so lunchtime. This afternoon, Ken Shiro. There was a card on in Tokyo. Didn't see the fight, but from all accounts, Dave, it was another fight. The contender of the year fight, as far as I know. I saw the stoppage in the 12th round. I didn't see all of it to kind of say enough was enough. It sounded like it was a right old war. That was at flyweight. Ken Shiro's now unified the division, so I'm guessing a Mr. Galauya 5 will have his eyes looking at that this afternoon. But did you see any of the Japanese card while you were grafting away, mate?
No, I was in the office, but I couldn't get it on. But Tenjiro, he's in my pound list. He entered that, and from what I can hear and from what I know of today, it's warranted. He's exciting. He's brilliant. So I will catch up with it. Maybe we can do a proper review on it Monday. Maybe we, a little late one, but maybe we can just go back and just have a quick touch on it, because obviously it was this afternoon.
Yeah, I've seen the stoppage, but I haven't seen the previous 11 rounds or the previous 12 rounds. So yeah, it's definitely one to go back and watch from what I've heard, guys. So obviously preview show today. We start off with the usual. David McDonald. I normally put David McDonald in his dongs. I've gone kind of straightforward here. David McDonald's boxing news.
David McDonald and the dongs.
Always had the dongs.
So, always with the dongs. So WBC President Maurizio Sullivan said that the WBC have now officially ordered Dimitri Bivol to defend his undisputed light heavyweight world titles against David Benavidez next. I mean, no one can be upset about that. David Benavidez deserves it. For me, there's no one else that Bivol should be fighting, unless you're going to do a trilogy, which doesn't look like that's ever going to happen now, because Turkey's come out and said he's not interested in the trilogy. He's heading over towards that league situation with Dana White. And so, yeah, I'm all for that fight. Really, really looking forward to that, mate.
Yeah, same, mate. It's funny how the talk has been about TKO, Dana White, Nick Khan, Uncle Turkey, crushing the other sanctioning bodies, crushing the promoters. And straight off the back of this, Maurizio Sullivan jumps out and starts ordering mandatories. Bit of a panic job going on there. Have I got a problem with the fight? No, of course I haven't. He's the interim champion forever. That's fucking worth. So yeah, deal me in. Would I like to see the trilogy like every other boxing fan? 100%, because that was what a proper trilogy is. It's 1-1. Yeah. Better BF won the first one, Bivol won the second one. The rubber match. Let's see who the best is in the light heavyweight division. But I'm not going to complain that David Benavidez going in Bivol either. So yeah, I'm kind of stuck on that one with WBC. I think they've done it for the wrong reasons. I don't think if Turkey would have come out and said what he said, I think Maurizio Sullivan would have been happy to let David Benavidez fight with his interim belt, shitty fights, making 3% off him, while he's quite happy to let the trilogy go ahead. But as you said there, mate, Uncle Turkey's kind of said, "No, I'm not interested in that," which is quite odd. So yeah, I'm not too sure on Turk's attitude, but yeah, the fight, deal me in, brother, deal me in.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that you mentioned, and fair play, I'll give you flowers for this. The WBA have now officially ordered Kubrat Pulev to defend his WBA regular heavyweight belt versus Fabio Wardley next. The winner must face Michael Hunter. But Alexander Usyk has been granted a 2-year extension to his mandatory defence period, allowing him to pursue bigger fights. Now, bear in mind, this is a week old. Like, I go back from the week since we've done the last podcast, so there might be updates on that, which I believe there is. But yeah, Fabio Wardley versus Pulev. I've got no issues with that either. You know what? We were talking about where Fabio Wardley should go. He's been in with Fraser Clark, them 2 fights. And so why not? Why not become the world champion, do the regular belt, elevate himself to...
Careful what you're saying there about world champions, Mr. Holland.
Go on.
You said a world champion. He wouldn't be a world champion. I've got issues with this. I
like this. Go on. Rant.
I don't want to upset you for going into tomorrow. However, you just said there in your statement, Alexander Usyk's got a 2-year extension.
That's what he said. Yeah, that's what he said, to his mandatory defence period, to allow him to pursue bigger fights.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. But that means fuck all, because he's got the other belts which won't allow that. So one sanctioning body might allow it, but the rest of them are not going to do that either, are they?
But they're 4 separate busines's. He's holding 3 of the belts now. He obviously had to vacate one of them.
Yeah,
so
right.
he should be fighting at least 3 times a year. Those guys in the WBA that are paying their sanctioning fees are next in line to face Usyk. He should be defending at least that belt as well as the other 2. There should be no extensions. Irrelevant if he's Alexander Usyk. He probably doesn't have to ask for that. WBA probably looking from a business sense. Now, I've got issue with this as well, mate, because on Twitter in the week, I saw this being spoken about. I saw people moaning about the belts and all this kind of other jazz. I haven't got a problem with Fabio Wardley going in that direction. Fair fucks to him. He'll batter 40-year-old Kubrat Pulev, 42-year-old, whatever he is. He'll smash him to bits. But Michael Hunter beat Cassius Chaney last year, right, in an eliminator for the gold belt. So you win the gold belt, you should be mandatory. You're next in line for the regular belt. Now, obviously, Manuel Char defended his belt against Pulev. So Pulev's next opponent should be Michael Hunter. So why the fucking hell did Michael Hunter pay 3% in his fight against a low budget fight against Cassius Chaney when he's not in line? He's not next in line. But Michael Hunter will get his chance after. No, he shouldn't be getting it after. He should be getting it now. Meritocracy. This is what I'm saying about the sanctioned bodies. Usyk's got an extension, bullshit, and Michael Hunter's not next to fight Pulev, bullshit. I don't like it, mate. It stinks. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I think that's bollocks.
I can see where you're going with that, but I mean, as for Fabio Wardley, in like just regardless of all the bullshit around it, we were looking at where Fabio Wardley should go next and who he should fight. And I'm sure you threw Pulev and that belt in the mix when you do your fantasy sort of fight.
That's matchmaking. WBA have actually ordered it. So they've he's leapfrogged Michael Hunter. That's what I'm saying. Why is Michael Hunter paying a sanctioning fee against Cassius Chaney? Yeah. You must know that these fights aren't going to be fucking made. They're just ripping people off. This is why Uncle Turkey and Dana White are saying. It's why people are getting upset. Stop robbing people. Stop charging 3% with fucking shit little belts, mandatories that are never going to be asked or never going to be made. Michael Hunter's not fighting the winner of Pulev and Fabio Wardley. Uncle Frank could direct him into a Daniel Dubois fight or something like that. One of his own stable. Come on. Let's stop being fucking stupid about it, boxing world. I don't like it. To me, it stinks. I may be going over the top with it, but again, meritocracy is what I'm all about on here. And it's a great opportunity for Fabio Wardley, Dave. But when it comes to next in line, he's not for me.
No, fair enough. Listen, there'll be more sanctioning bodies chat, I'm sure, further on.
He's starting me off now.
But a decent bit of news. Announced Katie Taylor will defend her undisputed ring, WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO super lightweight world titles in a trilogy fight versus Samantha Serrano. Now, I know what you're going to say.
You go.
No, I know. I can see what's going to come here. Because she's 2 down, and I think that's where you're going to go in this. But
no, it wasn't. It wasn't actually. Funny enough, it wasn't. It wasn't. Mate, I'm up for it. It's the.
Oh, okay.
I was shaking my head because I kind of feel a little bit sorry for Amanda Serrano. Katie Taylor more or less promised her 10 threes, and straight away she said, "Nope, 10 twos or nothing." So I shocked you there, mate. But go on. What's your thoughts on it?
Obviously, you talk about rubber matches and and the proper trilogies, and I thought, here we go. When you shook your head there, I thought he's going to. Well, no, fair enough. You surprised me there. Listen, there are 2 fights are worthy of a third fight, regardless of the results, because the fights both of them were fantastic, and this one will be the same. So I'm all for it. But yeah,
I've got to be honest though, Dave. Now you've mentioned it, I'm all for it, but I'd rather see Katie Taylor versus Chantel Cameron 3. It's 1-1. Yeah. And they were 2 good fights as well. They were 2 close fights as well. So I'm not as bothered with the Taylor Serrano one. I'm more kind of not concerned, but I kind of feel sorry for her because she's going to get weighed in. She's going to be fair play to Jake Paul. He's making her the highest paid female athlete of all time when she steps into that ring for the trilogy. She basically said, "What I know she's not going to do 12 threes, but at least do 10 threes for 3 or 4 of the belts. Come on." Yeah. She kind of promised her, and she's gone no.
Katie Taylor can't do. We've spoken about it. Katie Taylor can't do 3-minute rounds. I don't care if it's 10 or 12. She can't. So listen, when you're as big as Katie Taylor, she doesn't have to be forced into anything. So that's fair enough. Naya Inoue will defend his undisputed ring, all the belts. I'm not going to go through them all again. Against Ramon Cardenas on the 4th of May, Sunday the 4th of May at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. And then we'll fight MJ on the September the 14th in Tokyo if he wins. What do you reckon of that?
Yeah, as long as we get MJ next, we'll allow him another tin can. That's all I've got to say on that.
Yeah.
What about you? Come on, it's not the fight. It's not a fight nobody wants. We all want MJ. We all want Nakatani. I mean, Nick Ball's being thrown about willy-nilly as well. But the guy's ranked. He's paying sanctioning fees. Does he deserve his chance? Maybe. It's another one over. It's in Vegas, did you say?
In Vegas, yeah.
In Vegas. It's over that 2-night thing, isn't it? Canelo in Riyadh and then New 8 in Vegas. Even though they're in 2 separate parts of the world, it's kind of a Ring magazine event, I think. But yeah. Inoue will do what Inoue does, and as long as we do get the MJ fight a bit more of jeopardy.
That's the only thing that it's almost like that. They're throwing the MJ thing in it to sort of justify what that is. So, like you said, as long as it happens, because it's all until that's signed and sealed, it's almost like a carrot dangler, isn't it? As to right, we'll get on board with this because we got this. So if that all goes well, fair enough. I can live with that. Yeah. Announced Johnny Fisher and Dave Allen will meet again in a huge heavyweight rematch in London's Copper Box on May 17th. I might go to this. I might actually go to this with Alf. But the rematch is warranted. Well, is it? I thought Dave Allen won, but
We all did, yeah.
I've got no issues with a rematch. Fisher, there's either going one of two ways. He's either Dave Allen's got his number, or he learns from that fight. Now he should learn from that. We spoke about Caroline Dubois yesterday. No, she's a world champion and stuff like that. But the fights that digging in and being up against it, showing you've got the minerals can push you on. And Dave Fisher did show some guts. You know what I mean? To keep going. He was gassed, but he needs to learn for it. And he's got the chance for redemption here to move on. So it's an intriguing fight. It's more intriguing now than it was in the first fight for me.
It'd be interesting watching Fight Week as well, because going into Fight Week, I know it was in Saudi and Dave Allen had just got off the couch and all that kind of stuff. He looked up for it. Since it's been announced and I see interviews with him, he's kind of like, yeah. So I want to see what version we get Fight Week of Dave Allen. If he looks buzzing, if he looks up for it, say, yeah, I've got his number. He ain't on my level. I'm going Dave Allen again. But I just want to see what his attitude is. He's another fighter that kind of, he's never been a world level elite kind of fight. I'm not going down that route, but sometimes he turns up and he looks $1 million. That's why we all went on the journey with him. And that part of his career, Fraser Clark and those kind of fights, he's kind of just turned up. I think you're right, mate. I think it is the right thing to do. I think we're going to be honest. Apart from team, I don't think it's even Team Fisher. It's the family Fisher that are still sulking over comments made by certain pundits that thought that Dave Allen won. I can't see the problem. I know you're emotionally invested, but let's be totally honest. You're either going to go for A fighter or B fighter. So, you could grow up, man, and hopefully he can come through it. Like you just said, hopefully he can learn from it and he goes away and wins. So, yeah, that's my thing.
Like I say, it's better for me. I'm a big advocate, and you've heard me say this bbefore. It's better to have these sort of trials and tribulations early in your career. I feel that they better prepare you for higher levels, because you see when you're putting fights, and it's the easy route. When you get to a certain level, you get found out, and half the time you don't recover. I think this could be the best thing that's happened to Johnny Fisher, because he's been in the trenches. Yes, it was a draw, wasn't it? When it should have been a win for Dave Allen, I believe, wasn't it?
No, Johnny Fisher got the victory, didn't he?
Oh, sorry, apologies.
I'm sure he got the victory. Yeah, I'm just glad that they never put him in Moses as a tumor in the end.
No,
that would have been, you wouldn't have seen a rematch there. That would have been possibly a backward step for Johnny Fisher. But anyway, I agree, mate.
I'm going to probably set you off here again, but here we go. It's the news, so it's got to be on. Maurizio Lara. Tested positive for bentifazone in a UCAD testing following his rematch defeat to Lee Wood in May 2023. Now, I don't know how many fights he's had since, but that's where boxing is fucked. And so has now got a ban backdated for 2 years. His ban is backdated to the start of his provisional suspension, so will expire on March 6, 2026. How many times has he been out since he fought Lee Wood?
About 4 or 5. It's got to be, isn't it?
That's ridiculous, mate. I mean, what they're going to do? They're going to check him for all these fights now and backdate bans, and what the fuck? Like, why is it taking so long? How is it? This is where I get the arse with this. Is that he's tested positive, and it's only been announced now after he's had 4 fights from a fight in May 2023. That's where boxing stinks for me, mate. It's ridiculous.
I don't think I've got the energy, mate, to go into it. I saw, but to be honest, I saw Lee Wood's comments on it on social media, because he kind of got his title back and he won the fight, and it's 2 years ago. He don't seem bothered. His comments are like defending Lara. They said, he wasn't kind of sure what he had to take fighting in the UK, and it's kind of irrelevant now, which is the wrong attitude. So, but I'm with you. Yeah, it's a brown stain on boxing yet again. And obviously we're all relying on Uncle Turkey with things like that, and big advocates on universal scoring. Maybe down the line he can start looking at universal kind of drug testing platforms, systems. You know what I mean? So they're all kind of, again, the UFC kind of format where they all have to take the same kind of supplements that's kind of branded with the UFC stamp and all that kind of jazz. But he's not the first, Dave, is he, Lara? He won't be the last either. So it's still rife in the sport. It really is rife.
Yeah, it is. The All-London derby between Lawrence Okoli and Richard Riakporhe, scheduled for April 5th, is now off after Okoli suffered an injury in training. That was a deep. I'm not Okoli's biggest fan. I'm not really a massive fan of Riakporhe. But putting them together, I could sort of get up for. I'll sort of watch that. It gives me a bit of intrigue. But yeah, it's off now. I'm sure it'll get remade at some point.
Well, that's the co-main of Joyce and White, and that's been pulled as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know now. I wasn't looking forward to that main event anyway. But the rumor is Filip Hrgovic is going to step in. Why didn't he just do fucking Joyce Ratpor?
No, yeah, exactly, yeah.
You know, I'm wondering if a lot of people have been asking for refunds, Dave, because that's the co-main and the main that's come off that. That's the DAZN card as well. It's Frank, because it's Frank's last TNT one this week. So
yeah. Oh well. Anyway, back to sanctioning bodies. The WBO have officially ordered heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk to defend his title against the interim belt holder Joseph Parker. The parties have 30 days to reach a deal before it goes to purse bids. I think I've got no issues with that either, because Parker deserves it. Parker, you talk about me, merits, getting on there on merit. Why not? Look at the names. Look at the name. We talk about Daniel Dubois' rise to becoming world champion and opponents that he's beat. Look at Joseph Parker's. So no issues with that, mate. And you talk about sanctioning bodies. For me, that's the right thing to do. So I've got no issues with that.
But again, they've, on the back of Turkey and Dana's comments, they've come out and issued a mandatory. But they've let Usyk, and not so much age. Usyk's had the belt only for 2 or 3 years now. But they've let Joseph Parker fight in interim fights along with Zheli Zhang and Joe Joyce, making 3% off them. All of a sudden, their arse seems to be going a little bit. So we start forcing these mandatories now. Let's start showing we mean business. It's load of bollocks. It's load of bollocks. But yes, same as the Benavidez fight, mate. He's next in line. He's next in line. So the old saying, isn't it? Unifications, Trump mandatories, which has always been the way. But there again, Dave, will it actually happen? I mean, I know they'll call for it, and they've got 30 days to go before it goes to purse bids. But we saw this with I know it's heavyweight boxing, it's the blue chip division, but we saw this last year with Janibek and Hamza Shiraz. The WBO ordered Janibek to defend his title against Hamza Shiraz. They couldn't get it on, so it went to purse bids, and all of a sudden, no one ever heard anything else about it. So Janibek's fighting some guy we can't pronounce his name next month in his home country of Kazakhstan. And we had Carlos Adames taking on Hamza Shiraz for his belt. So until I see him sign that contract to walk into that ring, it doesn't mean anything at the moment. But your original point, brother, yes, he is the next guy in line, and he deserves his shot at the 12 title. Definitely, mate. I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, and that's it for David McDonald and the Dongs.
Lovely. I don't think you missed anything out there. I think you've covered most of.
I go back through everything from when we done the last podcast, because I snapshot everything so I can see the last date. So I try and I cover everything for the week. So sometimes if I don't do it for a couple of weeks, it's old news. But I always go back to the last time I'd done a David McDonald.
Yeah, he's got his ways, he's got his methods, and they seem to work. I've got my ways, and I've got my methods as well. I'm talking about the prediction league, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. Oh, have you got a bit of breaking news, or you hello in case you've lost again?
No, you seemed very confident in the way you was talking, like
well,
not like the Bacardi news, because that was brilliant, because that was live whilst we were podcast. I don't think that moment ever be beaten, but looks like I'm getting beaten by the way you've introduced the prediction league. But anyway, don't let me stop you.
Well, it's very rare, but obviously by the big smirk on my face, I've had a better week, should I say, than Mr. Holland. So I've kind of spoiled it a little bit, but let's have a bit of confirmation with the scores. So last week, going into the Jonas Price weekend, it was 4-3 to myself. Dave was looking for the equaliser. So let's have a look at the scores. Jonas Price, we both went for Lauren Price. I said points. Dave went for Pricey on by 8th round stoppage. So that's 3 points for me and just the one there for Dave. Dubois against Shin. Both Dubois on points, so 3 points apiece there. Watson against our girl, Jasmina Zapatochna. Clearly, we both went for Yaz. Went on points there, so it's 3 points apiece there as well. Eubank McKenna, both went for Harlem on points. He got the stoppage, so just 1 point apiece there. Conlon Khan, both went for Conlon by stoppage. That went points again, so a point apiece there. And Venezuela versus Walters. I went for the Axeman in Walters, so nothing there for me. And Dave went for the Mexican. He went down the Mexican arse-pulling route by going for Venezuela, but he went on points. It was an RTD, if you like, so it was a knockout, but he went on points. So he just gets to 1 point there. Well, I got 0. So has he equalised? You know, guys, that he hasn't. So the scores did end up Dave Holland 10, Dave Graham 11. Going into this week's action, Dave G 5, Dave H 3. And again, I won't say I've got to pull you up because it was a 50-50 fight in a way, but Lauren Price has kind of done you. because you've gone for a knockout rather than points in a women's fight. 10-2s.
Not only that, that done me. But obviously, I got the Venezuela one as well, and I've only gained the point because of the method. So I mentioned no mass, but no mass is what happened, and it's killed me. But yeah, listen, it makes it interesting. I will bounce back. I always do. I am 2-0 up overall since we've been doing this 105 episodes.
You are.
So I've got bounce back ability. You know what I mean? I'm Johnny Fisher. I can get up.
Just thinking now, Venezuela's record, it will say RTD, won't it?
Yes,
because it was stopped by the ref. Yeah, will it say RTD or TKO?
It'll be it'd be RTD when he didn't come out, did he?
Yeah, it'd be RTD. Yeah, but double check that. It's irrelevant. It wasn't on point.
It wasn't point, so it doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, just to sum it up. Right, this weekend's previews and predictions. There's a bit going on this weekend. The main card is over in Liverpool, where we're going to start now. The Echo Arena. Well, it's called the Echo Arena. No, it used to be called the Echo Arena, didn't it? It's called the M&S Bank now. It's a hard day's night. It's what Uncle Frank's called this. It's obviously Liverpool, Beatles, that kind of narrative. But it's the last one for TNT Sports. So once this is over, I don't think there's any boxing that's scheduled for TNT. Go straight over to DAZN to join the boys over there. Nick Ball, Dave, second defense of his WBA featherweight title, taking on a 38-year-old TJ Doheny. Doheny last saw him out against Anaya Nue. He got a body shot and then it travelled through to his back. And he pulled out. Yeah, put his back out. He pulled out through injury. So he says he's coming up in weight. Again, I'm gonna have another little rant. How the fuck is TJ Doheny from the weight class below jumped up to featherweight, going straight for a fucking world title shot? How's that work? Where's that?
Wild Wild West, my friend.
It's not good enough. It's not. You got Shoo Carrington at number 2, I think, with the WBA. Surely he should be fucking called. I know it's a voluntary, but come on, man.
Do you think it's a narrative fight? Because Anue is just busting him up. Nick Ball keeps, talking about that. Is it one of them ones? I done a better number on them ones. He done it in 2, 1 done it in. You know what I mean? It just. But possibly, take nothing away from TJ Doheny. He's lost a good company. Like he has lost a good company. Mickey Conlan's beat him. Baluta.
Yeah, Baluta.
Sam Goodman. So he's not Anaya Nue. So he's lost a good company, but I think it's a narrative fight for me, mate. And yeah, I think obviously we know what we know about Nick Ball. It's his homecoming fight, and I think he's
it's his second homecoming fight. He fought Ronnie Rios in Liverpool, didn't he?
Oh, that's right. He did. Yes.
He made hard work of that. Don't get me wrong, he probably won most of the rounds, didn't he? But he took him a bit longer to get rid of Ronnie Rios than we expected. We all love Nick Ball in here, but he's he's turned into one of the nation's sweethearts, if you like, in the boxing world. But going back and looking at some of his fights, he's been chin checked a couple of times. He is easy to hit, especially when he comes in. But I've heard people talking about knockout power and stuff like that, and I've got to disagree. He hasn't got that one punch concussive power, has he? It's accumulation.
Accumulation, it's cumulative, yeah.
So this fight of the weekend, mate. After this, I expect him to get the job done. I don't expect any 38-year-old that's coming up from the weight below. Even though Doheny can bang, he might catch Nick Ball and ask him a couple of questions, but I don't expect anyone to stand in front of him at this age to give him too many problems. But if he does come through, when he comes through, he's had 2, I wouldn't say knockovers, but B-level opponents now. Yes, Doheny was a former world champion in his own right, but he's not. He shouldn't be. He's not at this level anymore. I expect to see an Angelo Leo or an Espinoza or Stephen Fulton fight next. But I am jumping the gun. It's a second homecoming, mate. I'm going to go straight in. I think Nick Ball will just the energy levels, the gas tank. Doheny might again get a twinge in his back and don't want it anymore. It's different sort of pressure compared to Nue. Nue's quite happy to have a look first, isn't he? He's quite happy to, do a bit of downloading and then find the accuracy and the one punch powers there. Nick Ball's a different kind of animal, if you like. So I just think it's going to overpower him, outwork him. The accumulation of the shots. I just think it's going to be a typical Nick Ball performance, and I think it's going to Yeah, I want to go a stoppage. I think it's only been stopped once, but it's Nick Ball's time. Now he's the world champion. People are looking, all eyes are looking at him. I think Nick Ball's going to stop him late. So I want to go Nick Ball to stop TJ Doheny. I don't think it'll be a clean knockout. It might be a body shot and then a no mass or a back injury. Round 10, Nick Ball, mate. What are you thinking?
I tend to agree. I think that, yeah, you're right in what you say. Inue's a different type of fighter. He holds centre of the ring, throws beautiful combinations, pure of unbelievable power. But you're right. He sets up his shots. He thinks about his work, and so he's very thoughtful in what he does. And Nick Ball, on the other hand, goes straight out of the traps. And I think that's going to be the difference with TJ Doheny, is that yes, he's 38 years old, but he's going to be on a back foot straight away. He's going to be under immense pressure, and that's with Nick Ball. It's relentless.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go down the old Inoue route, because I feel that this is what it's being built towards. Now, whether it happens or not, because they're already talking about Inoue having to fight this person, then to them fight MJ and all that. So where Nick Ball fits into that, I don't know, but I think he's going to go a little bit earlier. So Inoue stopped Doheny in round 7. I think that he's going to overwhelm him. He's tough, Doheny, but I think age is going to catch up with him to be able to keep up with that engine. I think Nick Ball stops him in round 6.
Yeah.
And then he starts with all that narrative. Well, I've done it a better job than all that. I think that's what's coming.
Yeah, you're going down the old barometer route. You like that, what you've come up with, don't you?
Yeah,
using the Inoue stoppage as a barometer for Nick Ball.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be.
Anything you could do, I can do better. Yeah,
that's it.
I can see the thinking behind the management and the promotional companies there as well, mate. You're probably spot on. So good luck to Nick Ball on Saturday night. This is a good card. It's full of Scousers. I think there's about 12 or 13 fights on here. This fight, the co-main, I'm looking forward to this one more than the main event. I've got to admit, Andrew Cain versus Charlie Edwards, the British and Commonwealth bantamweight belts on the line. I don't know what's happened with Charlie Edwards' European belt. Last time we saw him previewed and reviewed, he beat Thomas Asomba for the belt. This isn't on the line. He doesn't hold it anymore. So I've got no idea, but I'm not too bothered about the belts at this stage, even though they're a nice caveat on top. This, to me, has got puncher versus boxer written all over it. And I'm not saying Andrew Cain can't box, because he fucking can, but he's more spiteful. He's more of a puncher. He's aggressive. He's from the same stable as Nick Ball, isn't he? He's from the Red Triangle stable up in Liverpool. And obviously Charlie Edwards is now training with Stephen Smith, based up in Liverpool. So they're coming out, but they've come out the same city. There's a bit of beef between them all week. There was beef today on the press conference. I'm guessing there's going to be a bit pushing and shoving tomorrow at the weigh-in. I love this fight. I really love this fight. And I was just talking to somebody on Twitter, just briefly engaging on someone that wasn't a troll for a change. And I kind of sum it up like this. Andrew Cain, he's got 12 knockouts in 13. He's got a massive gas tank. He'll hunt you down. He'll look for his shots. If he lands on Charlie Edwards, it's over. It's good night Vienna for me. He stops Charlie Edwards, and then Charlie Edwards kind of don't know how he'll react to it. Obviously, he lost to Casemiro, then he had that bad experience of Julio Cesar Martinez, and we didn't see him for years. He had a breakdown, and all kinds of different things went out in his life out the ring. He's come back, and I wouldn't say we're at the 2.0 version of Charlie Edwards, but he's looked good again. He looks like he's enjoying boxing. He's got great movement. I love the way he boxes. I know a lot of people don't like him, which I find strange. Just because he hasn't got any pop, or because he's the brother of Sonny. I don't know. I like the kid. But if Charlie Edwards has got a full gas tank, the endurance is there, and he sticks to his boxing, because sometimes he can get a little bit cocky. The old poking at the tongue, doing the old alley shuffle, and that nonsense. Stick to your boxing, the quick feet, in and out combinations, get out. In and out combinations, get out. Don't care how fucking boring it is. He could take the piss out of Andrew Cain. Are we getting the Charlie Edwards? We've got a Charlie Edwards, what was it, 7-8 years ago? The ex-world champion, the guy that's been in a better level of fighters, the more experienced fighter, or is Andrew Cain just going to run straight through him? I'm intrigued with this, Dave. Yeah, I am intrigued with this. This is a great fight. What are you thinking here? Andrew Cain versus Charlie Edwards, mate?
For me, you're right. It's boxer versus puncher here. So it all depends on, and I'm with you. I think it all depends on what Charlie Edwards turns up. If a switched on Charlie Edwards can make this look easy, because of the way that Andrew Cain fights. Comes forward, got a lot of power. His record speaks for that. So what Andrew Cain's got to be careful of is that he doesn't start following him around the ring. Doesn't cut off the ring. Made to miss, and that can happen. So for me, that's going to be the difference in this fight. Is both of them really as well, especially if there's needle there, keeping their heads. and not getting frustrated, because there is going to be times where Andrew Cain is going to be frustrated, and it's how he reacts to that, and also he's got to think about not also trying to load up or trying to catch him on with this one punch, because with records like that, and you've seen it so many times before, you can get caught up in, I will catch him, and the rounds pass you by. And Charlie Edwards can make him look like that with his boxing skills, because let's have it right. He's got better footwork. He's Olympian. He's got a better IQ. But again, like you said, Charlie Edwards gets drawn into something, he can lose. So there is jeopardy in this fight, because they both got different attributes, but they both work for them. So I'm completely with you. Andrew Cain also has got one loss in his record, and that's again to Baluta. Now Baluta's been around the block fucking time and time again. He's a hard night's work, Baluta. It was a split decision. But
he put Andrew Cain down, by the way.
Yeah.
So he came across someone in his career that he realised, right, I can't just bulldoze everyone. And Baluta's a more well-rounded fighter, isn't he? He can punch, he can punch, and he can box. Whereas Charlie hasn't really got pop. Every time he throws a shot, it's Maybe that's why people don't like him, because he shouts and screams when he throws a punch, but he doesn't carry any power. Baluta does. So this is, again, mate. Yeah, you're right. It's interesting.
I've got to be honest. I was impressed with Charlie Edwards' last performance against is it Esoma? But
Thomas Somba,
yeah, Somba. Sorry, and his movement. We were waxing lyrical about it on the show after, about his footwork, and he put on a really good show. Now that Charlie Edwards comes into this fight and sticks to it and is disciplined. And listen, for me, it's going to go 12 rounds. So if he can keep that up, it depends on as well also what pace that Andrew Cain can set, because if Andrew Cain can. We talk about, like you said, they're in the same stable as Nick Ball. Nick Ball's got an engine.
He's fit. Yeah. So is Andrew Cain. He's fit as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So, he can get him down the stretch, which makes this fight interesting. But for me, I'm going to go in now and I'm going to call it. I think I switched on Charlie Edwards can win this on points. But I think he's going to be asked questions in this fight. He really, really is. There's going to be his moments. And it's how he reacts to their moments as to whether he can win. But I think he is. I think I like the Stephen Smith sort of narrative there. I think he's a good coach. I think he's we talk about Andy Lees and your Shane McGuiggans, them young guys that are coming up. I think he's going to turn into another decent enough stable, So I think that partnership works, and I think with him in his corner, keeping him switched on, I think Charlie Edwards wins on points, but it's going to be a good close fight for me.
I wouldn't be surprised if we're sitting here Monday and he's been knocked out.
Yeah, it can happen. Yeah,
but I also won't be surprised if we're sitting here on Monday saying that's Charlie Edwards 2.0.
Yeah,
fucking class that was. I'm going to go the same way as you, Dave. Purely because as well, got nothing to get Andrew Cain. I like Charlie. It was thrown to the side, wasn't he, after that defeat with Martinez, and he had so many problems. He had fallen out with Joe Gallagher and the Paul Butler situation. He wouldn't fight him, and he was being overlooked for certain European and world titles and stuff like that, and lost the love, had a breakdown, all that kind of story. It's mental health, and it is a real thing. So I do like Charlie. I know, as I say, it's not for me to say. People are allowed to dislike other people as long as, but I think it gets a bad rap when the guy with a chip on his shoulder, who I do like as well as his brother, is Sonny. He's a bit more of a rude boy, isn't he? But same as you, mate. Charlie Edwards to win on Saturday night on points. Talking of Baluta, the next fight on the card, another scouter, should I say, Brad Strand, against Ionut Baluta. I don't think this is for any belts. It might be for one of those WBO, WBA, silly European straps. This is a good fight as well. This is a good fight because Brad Strand and Baluta have both lost to pre-PED Dennis McCann. Yeah. So they've both been beaten up by Dennis McCann. Will it leave a kind of, I wouldn't say a stain on them, but in reality, we don't know if he was juicy back then. We it's all alleged at the moment, but let's kind of stay away from Dennis McCann. I don't know why I'm going down that route, but they both lost to him. Brad Strand had a knockout in his last fight, but he's not really a knockout artist. He's more of a Charlie Edwards type. He's a pot shot. He's a point scorer. He's got the amateur style. Where we just said there, Dave, Baluta is more well-rounded. He can punch, he can fight, he can box, he can box on the back foot. He can do a bit of everything at a good European level. So this, for me, shows it's going to see where Brad Strand is in his career, more Baluta. But Baluta's got a habit of fighting all these Brits. He's got a record of, he's beat 2 Brits on here in Andrew Cain and TJ Doheny. I know he's Irish, but from these shores. So this is an interesting fight as well, mate. What do you think about this one, Brad Strand against Ionut Baluta? I haven't made my mind up yet.
I actually think this is a step up for Brad Strand. Now,
Oh, it is,
Baluta, like you said, Baluta there is, he's been around the block. He's a hard night's work. Now, I know we talk about the last Dennis McCann fight and what's come since that, and there was a massive difference in between Dennis McCann versus him, number one and number two. It was a close fight. I know it stopped with an injury in the first fight. I think his shoulder went or something, but it was a close fight up to that point. The second fight, all of a sudden, Dennis McCann is planting his feet and he's throwing shots, standing toe to toe with him. That wasn't happening in the first fight. But anyway, that's for another day. But the only thing that worries me, and I know hopefully, he's gained some, he's got his power. Like I don't say man strength. He's 28 years old, but he's, Brad Strand, because I think he's going to need it to keep Baluta off of him, because Baluta will come forward, and that's my only issue in this, is that can Baluta, if Brad Strand doesn't earn his respect, I think Baluta could wear him down. And that's my only issue. I'm intrigued with this fight because I'm on the fence on how I believe this is going to go. Again, you're right there. Brad Strand's more of a boxer, but I feel like he needs to start throwing with some venom, and I think he needs to do it early to again earn Baluta's respect. I don't know. Since Baluta's last fight that we saw him in with Dennis McCann, it was a heavy defeat, really. He took some heavy shots. I don't know whether that's taken something out of him. So this is intriguing for me. I'm going to go in. I think Brad Strand's going to do. I think Baluta has been around the block for too long, really. And like I say, for me, I know what we're talking about Dennis McCann, and we'll bypass that, but it looked like there was some decline in the last fight with him. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe this could be a good time for Brad Strand. So yeah, I'm gonna edge for Brad Strand in again another close fight, but I think Brad Strand on points. I think Brad Strand can do it on points.
Yeah, same, mate. Very close, maybe a split decision or majority decision towards Brad Strand. Yeah, you've echoed everything I was going to say, really, mate. It looks like a decent card. There's a lot of next gen on here. Javier Herrera's on here. I've got to admit, he's from Frank. He's a Cuban from Frank Stable. I don't like him. I don't like his attitude. He's quite leery, gangsterish, thinks he's better than what he is, but he delivers in the ring. So I'm looking forward to seeing him, what he does in the ring on Saturday night. But I'm watching his interviews and that with Dev Sani, and that he's, I can't take to that guy. But all in all, it should be a good night's boxing on Saturday night, and that's live on TNT. So we're going to jump over to the States now, Orlando, Florida, to be precise. Eddie's got his matchroom card out there involving Austin Ammo Williams. If you can see that on the screen, guys, he takes on Canadian Patrice Volney in the main event. This is his second fight in his rebuild since he was beat up by Hamza Shiraz back in Riyadh last year. Yeah. We're going to do this card. Nothing kind of jumps off the page at this card. This is not really a good main event. I've got to be honest from Eddie. I'm surprised Edgar Berlanga's not main event. More of a name, more of an exciting fighter. But I do like Ammo Williams. I know nothing about his opponent. I don't think he's really fought out of Canada. He's got a decent name on his record in Paul Butler, but he's a very good domestic level Canadian fighter as well. I've had a look at the kind of the face-off they had beginning of the week. Volney's a lot bigger than Ammo Williams, as in height, as in, his shoulders and things like that. But Ammo Williams was and still can be a good contender at middleweight, Dave. I'm struggling because I don't know a lot about Volney, mate. Yeah, go on. I'm with this one because Ammo Williams. Ammo Williams' opponent after Hamza Shiraz was a downgrade on Shiraz. I don't know where we're at with Volney. Yeah, I know it's a strange one. This I'm with you. I've looked at his record there. I think he's lost. He's fought in Vegas once. Yeah. So Mandalay Bay, and he lost that fight, which doesn't bode well for him. But yeah, all the rest of the times he's fought out of Canada. So yeah, I'm not sure. He's 35 years old. I'm not sure what the plan is for Ammo Williams now. Like I say, he got beat in the 5v5 versus Hamza Shiraz, but that again, we talk about one defeat doesn't define him. I feel like I'm underwhelmed with the opponent. I've got to admit. I feel like he had his. Yeah. He came out after the and you're always allowed one, and we say that on here. But it's almost like he's now having two. That's how I feel with this. And what they've done, they've looked at the record, seen one defeat on there. It's a fairly decent enough record when you look at it. I think 19 wins, 13 knockouts. So it's almost like you can justify it. But I
yeah, for me, it's one of them ones that I can't really
get up for it. I can't get up for it.
I can't. There's nothing that stands out. And I mean, he can't keep having many more of these. That's for sure. So I'm going to go in on it. I think he wins in round 7. Ammo Williams. I mean, he's had one confidence builder. It was a TKO. How many are they planning for him?
Yeah. All I can think off the top of my head is that Eddie's not going to put him, if he's on a rebuild, he's not going to put him in any kind of danger or jeopardy. Might give him a few rounds. Yeah. He just signed Liam Smith as well. Eddie's just signed Liam Smith. So get rid of Volney or look good against Volney. You do a middleweight clash with Liam Smith, or if they're still doing the 5 versus 5 Queensberry against Matchroom again, you do an Ammo Williams versus Denzel Bentley, depending on how well he looks on Saturday night, or keep it stateside and someone like a Shane Mosley Jr. Again, I'm jumping the gun, guys, but I'm trying to sell it a bit more because this is a main event. It's not great. I won't be setting any alarms to watch this one. I will watch it in the morning with the cornflakes, and I'll say Cocoa Pops.
Oh, nearly Cocoa Pops.
Nearly. I think this is going to be a boring points decision for Ammo Williams, mate. I do.
Yeah.
I think he'll have more than enough, but he'll get it done on points. Edgar Berlanga, I just said there, I'm surprised he's not main event. The word on the street that he doesn't sell tickets. Coming off that Canelo loss, he's a bigger name than Ammo Williams. And like Dave said in the past, he's kind of the Canelo loss. He's kind of celebrating the loss, like I didn't get stopped in 12 by Canelo and all that kind of thing. Edgar Berlanga he's a character to say the least. He's loud, brashy, Puerto Rican / American. He's got all the mouth and. His early part of his career, he looked the guy. Was it 16 knockouts and 16 fights or something like that? Stepped up in opposition, and now he's got 1 KO in 7. The power hasn't disappeared, but we've said on this podcast many a times, the boxing skill, the IQ, and the generalship just ain't there with him. He looks for that shot, and he tries to land that shot, and early part of his career it worked, and now it's not working. And I think because he came over from Top Rank, it was because he came out at the same time as Xander Zayas. Xander Zayas has gone on to be a very good boxer. Berlanga's kind of going backwards a little bit. Yes, he's relevant in the super middleweight division because he does carry a power and he does make himself relevant on social media and things like that. He's up against Jonathan Gonzalez. Don't know nothing about the dude. I know he's Puerto Rican, so you've got a bit of a culture clash there. 2 Puerto Ricans going at it. So I think that should have been sold as the main event, if you like. But again, he was slagging Eddie off, saying he's not done enough for him. I think this might be his last fight under Matchroom, Dave. Again, this isn't great matchmaking. It's probably more of a narrative to get excited rather than the Ammo Williams one. But if Berlanga doesn't land, what do we get? Do we get a boring points? Do we get Jonathan Gonzalez shocking the world? I don't know I think this card is rubbish.
It is.
I've got to be honest, mate.
The opponents are awful, mate.
What are you thinking?
Sorry. Edgar Berlanga's just got off his open top bus for losing to Canelo.
Yes,
he did. I mean, I've never seen anything that's quite as bad as that. He's celebrating a loss, like going 12 rounds. I mean, what type of champion, like heart of a fucking champion, does that? And like I say, he was partying like he'd won. I know he probably won when it comes to money, possibly. But come on, if you want to be the number one in the division, you're not happy with defeat. And for me, that's put me right off of him. Now you had it right there. He had a padded record before he started mixing it with the names like Steve Rolls and Jason Quigley. McCrory, he fought last week.
He was losing that, wasn't he? He was losing against McCrory until he landed the money shot. Yeah.
I mean, I bet it's Steve Rolls, really, Jason Quigley. They're not huge names. So and then he steps in with Alvarez. Now we've spoken about this before with padded records, and and then going in with media. No, I'm not saying Steve Rolls because Steve Rolls was a good fighter, but not doing that middle ground before going to world level, and that's what's happened. So now what's going to happen? Is he going to go back down and start doing that again? I mean, it frustrates again. Another career that I could be frustrated with here with Edgar Berlanga. He needs to go out there and make a statement, and if any type of poor performance here, I just don't know where he goes next. Now, he's in a division where, obviously, Canelo Alvarez, he's got the belts, he's holding them all up. But there is
holding it up, yeah.
There is your Mungais. There's Caleb Plant. There is guys there that you can fight. Now, how many Jonathan Gonzalez are we going to have to see him in with before he gets in with them? There's a round robin, and we said this before, between all of them.
Yeah, and Billy, Pacheco, don't forget those guys.
Yeah, and Billy, exactly. There's names in that division, so there's no excuse for. Okay, listen. Again, we just said in the fight before, we'll give you one because he just lost to Canelo. It wasn't a bad loss, but he's lost. So okay, I don't mind you having one when you come off a defeat. Okay, but after this, if it's not a name that we've just mentioned there, I'm going to lose interest in him. But so listen, for the sake of hoping that this happens after this fight, I'm going to go for he's going to put in a good performance here. So okay, I'm going to say Edgar Berlanga to stop Jonathan Gonzalez in round 4, and then start saying in Billy or say, come on, scream a name, Pacheco, let's go.
Do you think if he makes a statement on Saturday night and stops Gonzalez, do you think he'll get the credit for it, or will it be he's just come off a Canelo fight? He should be beating Jonathan Gonzalez of the world.
Yeah, these type of fights, I've said this before, they're a lose-lose because he bangs him out in 4 and they go, well, you're supposed to. And then if he goes life or death with him, he's like, so they're these type of fights are lose-lose. So, there'd always be people that go, well, he should have done that. Who's Jonathan Gonzalez? So he can't really win it. That's why, yes, get this one out of the way. And then he has to be, I mean, there's 5-6 guys other than Canelo in that division who are credible.
I mean,
and you get in with you put him in with a guy that's getting announced. You can get up for that. You can get up for that, regardless of what you think of him and whatnot. And look at his record. If they announce after that fight he's going in with a guy next, there's excitement for that. But if you keep going with names you don't know, no one's interested.
Again, a caveat to that: this fight, the WBO have put an NABO version American title on top of this. I mean. Why don't you just tell him to fuck off? Why is Berlanga and Gonzalez take out 3% out of that purses for this? Where is that belt going to get them next? Nowhere.
Yeah.
But I'm same again, mate. I'm agreeing with you a lot tonight. I'm going to go Berlanga in 6. Underwhelming. I mean, he can steal the show if he likes with a highlight reel moment. He has got the power. That's what he has got going for him. But yeah. Just quickly on this card, Umari Jones. Anybody that's got more knowledge than me and Dave in the boxing world. I think he was a bronze Olympic medalist for the American team in Paris in 2024. He makes his pro debut for Matchroom, takes on an Italian contender in the welterweight division. So we'll keep an eye on him and see how Omari Jones gets on as well. So that's over on DAZN on Saturday night. Last but not least, Sunday, we've got a little bit of a treat for you. Well, I think it might be a little bit of a treat because this is all aimed at St. Patrick's Day, isn't it, Dave? St. Patrick's Day is Monday, so they're going to do their celebrations on Sunday. This is in New York at the Hulu Center, MSG. Dana White, of all people, his golden boy, Callum Walsh, is in action, should I say, taking on Dean Sutherland of Scotland. Never heard of Sutherland, I've got to be honest. I was obviously doing notes for the podcast. This card is stacked full of Irish fighters. Obviously, it's a big Irish contingent in New York. So this fight for me is kind of like, we'll give you another gimme, if you like, Callum Walsh. We'll give you a guy that's been fighting in leisure centres, in hotels over in Scotland. He's won like an area Scottish Celtic title or something like that. Have a few rounds, give the paying fans a bit of something to get excited about, knock him out in 3 and 4 rounds, and then we all go on the Guinness. Level opponent's rubbish, but I think it'll be the Irish / Callum Walsh St. Patrick's Day parade, mate. Dean Sutherland, from your neck of the woods, is a Scotsman, but I think Callum Walsh will go through this guy like a dose of salts, mate.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to throw it out there now. You heard it here first. Roper Dope podcast exclusive. Callum Walsh will be the first TKO league champion. He's with Dana White, so why not? He'll be whatever, his weight is he's a super welter, isn't he? So
it's welterweight, isn't he? Is he super welter? Is he 154, 147?
It says on BoxRec that the division that Dean Sutherland's in super welter. So we're just looking at his BoxRec there.
Oh no, it's a hang on.
Super welter. It's saying
still got 154. Is it?
Yeah. So he will be the first TKO Turkey League champion, and then they'll all have to chase him. But anyway, I'm going off piste. Callum Walsh is exciting, really good fighter. I mean, to be fair, we always, whenever we talk about Dana White and UFC and Callum Walsh, we always talk about Conor McGregor. I mean, you don't get much better support than the Irish in New York. That's some backing. It's some backing already in an early career. But he's producing. He's 10 knockouts in 12 fights. And for me, again, this is more of a show for St. Patrick's Day. I don't see any jeopardy here. It's to promote Callum Walsh, the Irish superstar over there. It's the narrative's there for an explosive performance, and I believe that's what he's going to do. But aside from all the razzmatazz and the Dana White stuff, I actually think he's a really good fighter. And obviously, Junaid Boston was my prospect of the year, but I was tossing up between Callum Walsh and him. So listen, he's got all the skills. He's got some pop. He's got charisma. He's got a lot. So. And then obviously on Paddy's Day, it's almost like Cinco de Mayo when Canelo out. It's all about Canelo. With this, it's all about Callum Walsh. And fair play for someone in such an early stage of his career, got a great backing. So fair play to him. For me, he's going to go. I'm with you, and I'm going to use your narrative that you say those assaults. He is going to go through Dean Sutherland and fellow Scotsman, but and I think he's going to literally walk through him. And I think it's going to be in round 2. Callum Walsh.
I'm going 3, round 3. Back end of last year, kind of said a similar thing. It wasn't a Cinco de Mayo. It was a New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve party for Jaime Munguia smashing up Bruno Siraj.
Yeah,
I don't think that's going to happen at all. Do you?
No.
It's a party. This is a St. Patrick's Day party. This guy's been cherry picked. This guy's been cherry picked like Siraj was cherry picked.
Yeah.
No, it just crossed my mind for some strange reason.
You're back.
I haven't seen it. No. No way. I can't see it. It's been cherry picked for a reason. However, when he does get through Sutherland, we've got to start talking names. So that should take Callum up to 13-0. With 12 knockouts, 12 knockouts, whatever it is. And obviously doing me notes, I'd like to do a bit of matchmaking. And you're right, he is a 154 fighter. I think the next stepping stone, even though he wouldn't like to be called stepping stone because he's on his own trajectory, I'd like to see Callum Walsh get him with Josh Kelly.
Yeah.
That to me is a fight to make next. Josh Kelly against Callum Walsh.
My only worry with this is that all this TKO boxing league sort of stuff going on, and they're going to pad his record so that when this all starts, he's good to go. Do you see what I mean? And fuck everything else off. Like, that's my only concern is that they ain't going to give a fuck because they who's the sanctioning bodies to us? We do our own thing, and this is our guy, and we do what we want, and he goes in where he wants. You know what I mean? And build it up so that when that league starts, there's a superstar in it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my only concern with him is that they'll just keep going. Well, fuck that. We don't work for them. You know what I mean? We do our own thing, and he's working for us, and you know what I mean? So that's my only issue with that.
As long as they keep the matchmaking interesting, Dave, until the TKO establish themselves and what they're doing with the leagues, I haven't got a problem. But yeah, this is a cherry pick which won't go wrong, even though I mentioned that Bruno Siraj. So yeah, we're both going for Callum Walsh to do the business on Paddy's Day, and they're all out for a few Guinnesses, which I will be on Monday. Yeah, Monday over here. The Winners Weekly Wager, guys, not doing too well. I'm getting the fighter right, but I'm not getting the results that I'd hoped for. So obviously last week, £24 in the pots. I went for Michael Conlon to get the job done against his Indian opponent. Yes, he won the fight. I went by a stoppage in 6 rounds, I think it was. Won by points. So I only picked up 1 point. I turned that a point into £1. Dave doubles it, so that makes it £2. So going into this weekend, it's £26 in the pot. But although it doesn't sound a lot, it's £26 better in a charity of your choice's pocket rather than mine and Dave's. It probably would be better than mine and Dave's because we can go and have a few Guinnesses and a pint, but you get what I'm saying. I won again last weekend, so sticking by the rules. We're not sanctioning bodies here. We do things properly. Sticking by the rules. Yeah. It's my turn again.
Yeah,
and I'm going to go for Callum Walsh. I think it's the most sensible one to go for this weekend.
I agree.
I said he's going to knock him out. Did I say 3 or 4? Keep
you said this, 3. I said 2. You said 3.
That's it. So my banker of the weekend, Callum Walsh to knock out Dean Sutherland in 3 rounds. I'm quite confident on that one. Where would you have gone? Very similar or the same?
No, as soon as the Winners Weekly Wager came up, I thought with Callum Walsh.
Yeah,
that's without a doubt. Now, like I say, Edgar Berlanga's in with an opponent not too short. There's a few in this week, but I think just because of the narrative of what we said about Paddy's Day and that, it's all geared up for him to have a highlight reel knockout. So for me, it's pick a round, and hopefully it's round 3 for you. Well, for the money, yes. For the prediction league, hopefully it's round 2. But obviously, I want the charity to win, so I'll give you that one.
Fingers crossed. Anything else to add, mate? Do you want a caveat on top with contact from Yasmina? She's seen our video from last night. She's very
friend
happy
of the
with
show.
Yeah, friend of the show.
Friend of the show. And like I say, we said it last night. I listened back today. And I say, she was lovely enough to give us her time, and she's great. And I say, we wish her all the best. She's fantastic, and she deserves everything that comes her way. She actually said she was going to do these things on our show. So, and then it was brilliant to watch her actually achieve it. So I'm delighted for her, and hopefully, we'll see her on here soon, flashing off her European title belt. I did miss something at the start of the show. Alfie was meant to fight tonight, but couldn't get an opponent. I'm not sure if they're down at the show now. I've got to pick them up later. But he couldn't get an opponent. It's a tough one for him because he's 6'1" at 13 years old. So he's either caught between being too big for someone or being too small for someone. And he's the height of a man, but you can't put him in with someone who's a man. You know what I mean? Because he can. It's only amateur days. He's had one fight. You know what I mean? It could ruin him for life going in there. Getting absolutely. Not that the referees and the judges will let him get hurt, but it's so hard to match him because of his size. So his size at the minute's going against him. But so it looks like they're going to try again in May. But he's still training and everything. So I mean, that's what I sort of said to him.
Keep busy. Never know when he's going to get the phone call, man.
That's what I say. Because he was cutting weight this week because he had 1.5 kilos to lose, and he was down to 0.5 kilo this week. So he would have made weight easy. So like I said, the hardest thing for you is to train when you haven't got something coming up, and you're still doing it. So fair play, you know what I mean? And when your time comes, you'll be more than ready because you've trained more than anyone. So he's down there supporting the other kids that are fighting tonight. There's a couple of them that couldn't get fights. I'm not sure if Paige the Rage is fighting. I'll find out when I pick him up.
I was just going to talk about her, the Rage. You mentioned that. You mentioned that, mate, about the amateur scene there. It just makes me think about how they do it in Mexico. There's all the rules go out the window. So like Andy Ruiz, when he was 14, was fighting geezers at 18, 19, 20 based on size.
Yeah.
So don't they do any kind of catch weighting down there?
No, it's more. It's not so much size because they could find someone his size, but it's obviously they take into account experience. He's a one-fight novice. They're not going to put him with someone that's had eight bouts. You know what I mean? So they've got to match the size with skill levels as well. So they've got to be sensible with it. So when the time comes, it will come. He's just got to keep ploughing away. But like I say, the fact that he's a big lad is going against him at the moment because the little ones, they get loads of fights because there's loads of people around their weights, and he's they're normal size like kids. But because he's a fucking giant, they can't put him in with men because he's just the size of a man, but they can't also put him in with someone his age because he's fucking massive to him. He's like fucking Fundora. So
Tara Inferno, eh?
Yeah.
Is his sister like that? Is his sister like?
She's not far off, but she's not
Gabriella.
far off. Yeah, exactly. The Fundora Holland. But yeah. So yeah, I'll keep everyone posted. But yeah, it's not his time just yet, but it will come.
Definitely. But it is our time to come now. It's the end of podcast episode 107. We'll be back on Monday, I hope. Depends how many Guinnesses I have. Are you working Monday, mate? Are you doing anything
working Monday. Yes, I'm not out on a piss Monday, but so if you do end up getting slashed, we can go and do it another day, not a bother. So you just let me know.
I doubt it. What I probably will do, I'm having a few this weekend. So I'll do me notes down the Weatherspoons as I normally do. I started a trend going down the Weatherspoons, do me notes, have a couple of Guinnesses to wishing St. Patrick, being the old my Irish side of the family, and our boxing comes first in my house. Just ask my missus. I'll definitely be back on Monday to discuss everything from the weekend. So to yourself and to all the listeners, have a great weekend. Stay safe, and as I always say, enjoy the bloody boxing. Dave, peace out, brother. Have a good one.
Take care, mate. Up the paddies.